Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Broken Sword 5. So last recording, we just wasted 30 minutes practically. I can't figure out this
I'd put some
puzzle.
statues above the fireplace, but it was hard to tell if they were the same ones as in
It's
Marquez's family photograph.
too much. These plinths turn at less than 45-degree angles. So you can get a side turn like this, which maybe that's part of it too. There's 4 different statues, which gives us way too many combinations. So we're not just going to brute force this. And so I'm just going to use the hint because I'm tired of this puzzle. I probably have all the facts, but I'm not interpreting the facts. The game has drained me mentally. Think about the direction of the rising and setting sun. If you need to find the direction north, examine the sundial outside. Yeah, we did that, and it said that the house was north, which in combination of the maybe I've got it wrong, but whatever. Rotate the plinths of the broken green statue faces, so that the broken green statue faces the wall and the unbroken blue statue faces into the room. Okay. So do this and then this. And hopefully these are in the right places. Was that what it said? I can't even follow instructions here. Broken green statue faces the wall. Unbroken blue statue. My mind has just gone to mush at this point. It's drained me. And I must admit that I'm going to have to think really, really hard if I ever cover a series in 30-minute episodes again, because that gives me just way too much opportunity to give up and take breaks, and that's not helping anything either. These aren't even in the right places, are they? So multiple attempts here. I'm begging that there's a click. Something that tells me this isn't the right place, because if there isn't a click or a lock-in, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get this. Let's read this again. The broken green statue faces the wall. The unbroken blue statue faces into the room. And unless I've rotated this too much. Finally.
Ah, what is this?
And if this is like Broken Sword 4, that might be the only puzzle at all. Go up. Oh, into a secret area.
Stairs. Always stairs.
Oh my god, look at this.
So another puzzle right next to this puzzle?
George.
That's not gonna be great.
What's this? A piece of burnt paper with the word Wolfram. That sounds familiar.
Wolfram. I curse that name forever.
What do you know about Wolfram, senor?
Wolfram. I spit.
Interesting that we're playing as Nico right now. So tell me about Ramon.
So you have lived here for a long time?
All my life. My father served here before me. In fact, he named me after Senor Xavier's favorite saint. Saint Ramon, patron saint of the falsely accused.
That's nice.
Not really. The Moors put a padlock through his mouth.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess there's a lesson there for all of us.
So we know who that guy with the padlock through his mouth is. Now?
What is Wolfram?
It was a mining company, run by a murdering swine called Gainen. In the Civil War, they backed the fascists. In return, Gainen was given soldiers to do his dirty work. They came here, brought their bloody war to this house, and killed Senor Xavier.
So, who is Gainen?
They shot Xavier? Senor Marquez's father?
I was just a boy, but I remember like it was yesterday. Shot him and his friend Hernandez, like animals.
Why did they come here?
They were searching for something, but they brought death with them. But there is one thing I have never understood. Xavier tried to escape through the library, but the library windows are barred. It is a dead end.
Now, I guess there's really no evidence that the old man we're talking to is really Marquez. It seems like even Marquez's own daughter very easily might not know him well enough to recognize him, since there's been such a long time apart. Ramon wouldn't probably recognize him either, so this might turn out that the guy who we think is Marquez is actually Wolfram,
This
or
Guinan.
Guinan.
Who was he?
He was Swiss, a businessman, and a murdering swine.
So what did he want here?
I don't know. When he wasn't torturing the locals, he disappeared to the library. Spent weeks in there, making notes and studying maps. His men, they crossed the whole of Catalonia searching for something.
Did they find it?
Who knows? One day, Gainen just disappeared. He never came back. An accident, perhaps, in the mountains. May his soul rot in hell. The soldiers didn't stay long to search for him. They hated him too.
So we have to keep on investigating. We can't even exit,
The
so...
name Guinan was familiar. He was the person who had tried to buy La Maledicción. A coincidence? Perhaps.
There is no such thing as coincidence.
Why did she say that out loud?
So, when the soldiers left, you took back the house?
Yes. A few years later I returned and cleaned the place up. It broke my heart. I locked the library. I could not bear to touch Gainen's papers.
So we're gonna have to go investigate
Can
that.
we have a look at the library?
No. I have kept it locked to honor the memory of Senor Xavier.
Well, that
Please,
probably
this
signs
is
his death
important.
warrant.
I lost the key.
You lost it?
That evening when I locked it up, I drank to the memory of Senor Xavier. The cellars were well stocked, Senora. It was a long night. I hid the key, then forgot where I hid it. So, it is lost. That was all that was left in the morning.
That's an interesting way to hide something.
Drop.
Hide it, then get drunk. To the point where you
I
won't have
needed to
memory.
find out what Guinan had been working on in that library.
This is the worst time possible to switch and play as Nico. So
bookcase held old Catalan books. I wouldn't be able to read them.
this is weird because we're gonna just look at the same things over and over again, and she's just gonna interpret them differently, and it's gonna lead to something differently.
There was a crate of brandy amongst the mess in the great hall. Apparently Ramon drank them all. Must have been some night. There was a row of shields displaying heraldic symbols. The scroll beneath the shield read roses. The scroll below the shield read Bascara. The scroll under the shield read Berga. The scroll beneath the shield read Olot. The scroll below the shield read Figueras. The scroll under the shield read Tremp. The scroll beneath the shield read El Pont de Sweat. The scroll below the shield read Puig d'Ardà. The scroll
Well,
under
she's
the
not
shield read
interpreting anything here.
Girona.
Unless she looks in the mess
The
and
hall
cleanness.
had collections of old items everywhere. Ramon claimed he had tidied the place up.
Yeah, I doubt that. And see, there's some things here I can't even use. Courtyard.
The internal courtyard had been beautiful once. Even overgrown like this, it had a serenity.
Let's see, what's this? There's a library and some
The
rubble.
plants at least were thriving in the rubble. The door was locked. I had to find the key. I wondered where Ramon could have hidden it.
Yeah, they're working very hard here to not have two puzzles back to back. I don't really understand
I
why she
decided
couldn't
to leave
just
the painting for later.
open the fireplace and go through it again.
The fireplace was adorned with carved trees. George, are you there? The grate had locked back into place.
I do have a mop, so I guess I could... Oh, don't tell me I'm just gonna use the mop on the mess or the mop on the rubble.
That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Can't use the phone. It's kind of pointless to have the phone when you can't even use it. Like the engine itself is not letting me use it.
I needed to try something else. I needed to find the key.
Mop on the fireplace.
No, I needed a better idea.
Mop on the shield.
That wouldn't have worked.
Mop on the fire
That
bookcase.
wouldn't make
I think we're gonna end up just getting a hint again. Like maybe on the wind
According
chime.
to the sun dial, it was mid-afternoonish. The wind chime looked like it was made from old cans. A beautiful stained glass window had survived the attack so many years ago.
Is there anything else?
The fountain had dried up long ago.
Can she go to the car? Apparently, yes, she can.
An old apple tree provided shade. Shame that the goat's rope wasn't long enough for him to enjoy it. The goat had been tethered. Seemed unnecessary. The gentle animal wouldn't have harmed a soul.
Interesting.
No, that wouldn't be good for the goat.
Nico seems to
No,
only
that wouldn't
dislike.
be good for the goat.
Seems to only dislike George.
Hello, little one. The goat had been tethered.
So she can just go to the car door and open it. Wow. And we've got tin can keys.
The floor of the car was littered with keys from sardine cans. I guess that's where he got all the cans for the wind chime from. An old pair of shoes. A 5D71. Extraordinary.
Let's move the pillow.
I picked up what looked like an old diary. It was Ramon's. The library will forever be a shrine. No one will enter. I shall hide the key in a safe place. Once I've eaten. I have just what I need and know what to do. Oh, beautiful lady, your eyes are so blue. I just can't stop thinking of you. Ramon was quite the budding poet. Our lives are entwined like ivy on a tree. That is what you mean to me. Nice.
Interesting.
Hey, I was reading that.
And the goat just
Tin
takes it.
can keys. I guess that's where he got all the cans for the wind chime from.
So the keys are in the wind chime,
The
probably.
dashboard seemed intact, but this old family car would never drive again. Another brandy bottle? Ramon really went for it that evening.
Well, is there anything else here?
Someone had been sleeping in the car, but long, long ago. It was never going to work. The battery would have died decades ago. An old and very dubious pillow.
Well, I think we've done everything we need to do.
Have you no respect for great art? Pretty indigestible, huh?
Let's look at the
A
bottles.
heap of old brandy bottles. Ramon must have been in the car on that night all those years ago. A
Look at the
pile of
apples.
old apples. Looked like the goat had been eating lots of them.
And see, I think we're just done. We just needed that hint to go look at the wind chime more clearly now. I'm a little happy for the quick resolution here, but in all honesty, it's been too long with this game.
Despite the scrap components, the wind chime was beautiful. It was uncanny. One old sardine can was bulging slightly. I fished around. There was something in it. And there it was, the key to the library.
Look at that. Two different animations. One with the key coming up to the screen like this, and one with the key just popping up in the inventory. I imagine that's because we're using the old UI, but there's really no reason to use the new UI. It looks awful. It's really, really bad. It would be funny if somebody came back and said, if you just use the new UI, the game never crashes. That would be funny, not funny haha, but odd.
Ramon had been true to his word. This place was like a shrine. A globe sat forgotten in a corner.
I'm glad this room is mostly empty,
As a child.
because I really didn't want to go through a bunch of this stuff.
Books were still stacked neatly in the bookcase. More were scattered on the floor.
So we'll do the trunk last.
Ramon was right. The window was barred. I wondered why Xavier Marquez had tried to escape through the library.
There must be a secret
The
panel.
tapestry had been flung to one side. The old armor was in pride of place. Genon clearly hadn't moved it.
Pride of place is a phrase they've used a couple times that is not United States English. I've never heard of this phrase.
The table had been cleared. An empty frame rested against the wall. When they left, Genon's soldiers probably took everything of value.
Well, there's nothing else here to click on, so move on to the trunk. And see, at this rate, it feels like we've...
At a guess, Genon's. I wondered what secrets they might hold.
Feels like we're gonna spend 30 minutes extra doing this side quest just to get back to the main story.
The hat looked battered and old. I wondered if it had belonged to the mysterious Genon.
So I take that, and apparently nothing else in the trunk mattered.
The map had interesting markings and scribbles all over it. George would be so jealous.
So, what is this place, senor?
It is my family's chapel.
It's not like any chapel I ever saw. Where's the altar, the crucifix, the Christian symbols? And this fresco, what's that?
How extraordinary. It tells a story. It depicts the journey of my ancestors, the Cathars, and their escape from the hilltop fortress of Montsegur with the Tabula Veritatis.
Are we gonna get to zoom in and see this?
Of the soldiers of the Albigensian Crusade.
Whoa, wait a minute. Who are the Cathars? And what have they got to do with the tabula?
The Cathars were Gnostics. They lived in the south of France in the 12th century, at peace.
Slow
with the
zoom in
Jews
here.
and the Catholics of the Languedoc.
This is a low quality
They
picture
preach
though.
that men and women are equal, that God is within you, and that the church is an obstacle to salvation. The Pope found their core beliefs abhorrent. The Cathars accused him and his church of corruption. He condemned them as heretics. When the Pope learned that they were the guardians of the Tabula Veritatis, he conspired with the King of France and called for a holy war to wipe them out. The Albigensian Crusade was a callous, ruthless massacre. The final confrontation took place here at Montsegur in 1244. The Crusaders believed that they had slaughtered all the heretics, but a handful managed to escape with the tabula. They traveled south across the Pyrenees along secret trails. They brought the tabula here to Catalonia to be hidden once more. Sadly, it was not the end of their trials. The Spanish Inquisition saw to that. Nevertheless, for generations, my ancestors continued to guard the secret of the tabula. So, you understand why La Maledizio is important to me. It will lead us to the tabula again, so we can keep it safe from those who wish to abuse its power.
The painting brought us up here, senor. We need to find out why.
So, one thing I want to point out here is every time I slightly nudged the mouse in that cutscene, it would bring up the fast forward icon. Ideally, it would be click once and then it pop up a button that says, do you want to skip this and pause the cutscene, or it would pop up in the lower right hand corner something along the lines of hold the left click button or the right click button to skip. But slight mouse movements are hard to avoid. Even if I try to move my hand away from the mouse, I could still cause vibrations there. And we can look at the fresco, and there's a glass lens and a window and a glass lens, and we kind of know what we're going to do already.
It was a large marble statue of an old man with a beard. The statue held aloft a colored glass lens. These statues...
What of them?
They're just like the figures in the painting. And on the fireplace.
Indeed. They are the two pillars of the Gnostic faith in harmony. And the bearded one is Yahweh, Jehovah, God of the physical world. The other is known by many names. Hillel, Ishtar. He is the bearer of light, Luxfere, Lucifer.
Lucifer? So you guys are devil worshippers?
No. When he is in balance with Jehovah, Lucifer is the god of desire and ambition, driving humans to be inquisitive, to discover, to advance. Just as Jehovah, when he is in balance with Lucifer, is the god of order. Jehovah stands for selflessness and altruism. Gnostics worship the harmony of both gods in balance.
But what if one were to rule without the other?
If Jehovah ruled without Lucifer, then individuality would be surrendered. Mankind would be wholly conformist, mindlessly dependent. Mere pawns of a controlling power.
And what if Lucifer ruled without Jehovah?
Ambition and desire would be transformed into unbridled greed, and man would lust only for wealth and power. Society
Are we
would
sure that didn't
descend
happen?
into chaos, disorder and war would prevail. Then Lucifer would be the devil indeed.
So, Jehovah. Now we can look at him.
Marquez had told me that this statue was of Jehovah. Marquez had told me that this was a statue of Lucifer.
And then let's see what we can do with the glass lenses. So it's 3 lenses are going to work together to point to something in the map. Jehovah should be...
The color changed from yellow to green. I removed the small leather cover to reveal a crude crystal lens. Colored light streamed through and shone onto the fresco.
And let's start with green, and if it's wrong, it'll be wrong.
The fresco deserved a proper examination. The fresco was surrounded by dusty inscriptions. My Latin was a little rusty, but I could still translate. Ex igne puritas, from fire, purity. Ex luce veritas, from light, truth. Ex labore sapientia, from struggle, knowledge.
And it looks like we will get several of these things lined up in the right place. And guess we should look at everything in
northern Catalonia.
Try to have as much
A
here.
town of northern Catalonia.
It's the same for each of them,
A
isn't
town
it?
of northern Catalonia.
Right, is there anything else to...
Cathars fleeing across the Pyrenees to escape the slaughter of the Albigensian Crusade. They seem to be carrying something. Cathars being burned at the stake. The mountain fortress of Montségur burning after its capture by the Crusaders. Knights of the Albigensian Crusade.
It's very much like the same story that we heard before of the Templars being killed by the Catholic Church. It's this series is dangerously anti-Catholic, although frankly these are not made up events either. The Catholic Church certainly did have a lot of hunts and people they killed, or inquisitions. Not hunts. That's the wrong phrase. So I'll take this off.
The color changed from yellow to green. The color changed from green to turquoise.
So
the
we
color
want
changed
blue.
from turquoise to blue. It was a candelabrum holding a single candle.
And we want this here.
Nothing happened.
Probably because I need to light the candle.
Just
So I
what
get
this
to
place
use that
needed.
match.
Bit of mood lighting. If only I had a few scatter cushions.
So we get to use the matches again. We get to use them a couple times in this game. And we'll leave it at that for now. A significant portion of the game, of this recording, this 30 minutes of gameplay, which I'm surprised it's taking this long, and I feel like at this rate, since we're now 64% done with the game, we may very well not leave this area except for to reach the Tabula Veritas. Maybe do one or two puzzles in the wherever the Tabula Veritas is, and then just see a couple cutscenes, and then that'll be the end of it. I don't feel like in the second part of this game, episode 2, we're going to end up back in France. We're going to end up back in London. I don't think we're going to revisit any of those areas, which is a, frankly, waste of resources. They could have easily had us go back and things be slightly different, but the backgrounds stay the same. Reuse that art. It also oddly feels like the music is actually playing in the second half of the game, because there was none of this music going on just subtly playing as far as I recognized in the first part. It was just either dead quiet or we were listening to the Hairy Lobsters the whole time. Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.